Every great business begins with a bold idea. Welcome to Mission Entrepreneurship, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of extraordinary entrepreneurs who've defied the odds. Discover the relentless spirit and creative minds of those who dared to innovate and take risks. Together, we'll reveal the grit and determination it takes to achieve the unthinkable mission of entrepreneurship. If you choose to accept it. Welcome back to another episode of Mission Entrepreneurship. I'm joined today with Ron Nussbaum, and he is the founder and CEO of BuilderComs, and the host of Construction Champions podcast. And he's also a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. I won't hold that too much against you. So how are you doing today, Ron?
I am doing fantastic, Steve. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. So basically, what I like to do is I like to really dig into the person. I like to find out, where did you start and how did you get to where you are now? One of the big things that I like to really talk about and harp on is I feel like there's always there's a series of decisions that entrepreneurs make, and we end up faced with these decisions where there's forks in the road. And I really like to really talk about those forks in the road, along the road for you. But then I also believe I have a personal interest that everybody has that one moment, that defining moment where it was like, I'm doing this. And I don't care what anybody thinks. This is what I'm doing. This is where we're going. And it changes their life forever. So if you could tell me a little bit about where you're from and where did you start?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Akron, Ohio.
Oh, man, I don't know anymore. Ohio, too? He's a Marine and he's from Ohio. I'm from Michigan and I'm Army. So just so you understand.
Oh, here we go. It's going to be a long show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it all started in the Rubber City, man, Akron, Ohio. And we'll get to one of the major defining moments of my life right away.
Okay.
We'll dive right into it. So I went into the Marine Corps when I was 23. I went to the recruiter when I was about 21, 22. I was lost, man. I was just out there living my best life. And I had it deep down inside of me that I wanted to be I needed to check the box. Could I go be a Marine? Could I go? I wanted to be a grunt in the Marine Corps. And I felt it so deep, as if I didn't do this, I would ask myself this question the rest of my life. And I went into that recruiter's office with my dad, and we sat down and we had like a 30-minute conversation, and we left and we got in the car, and my dad goes, well, since that's now off the table, what's your next option, you think? I said, hold on a minute. What do you mean it's off the table? And he said, oh, they must have not told you, but when you were in using the head, he didn't say head, when you were in there taking a piss, whatever I was doing, he said, you'll never be a Marine because of that tattoo you have on the side of your neck. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, it's out of the dress regulations. Marine Corps is very stingent on, you can't have anything that shows outside of your dress blues. Mm-hmm. So that was a fork in the road moment for me, is I didn't want to do anything else. Like, I had no interest in going to any other branch. I wanted to be a Marine. And I went on to spend the next 13 months getting that tattoo removed off my neck so I could step on the yellow footprints at Paris Island, and blew everybody's mind at the recruiting station. When I told them I was going to do this, they said, all right, yeah, we'll see. We've heard a million things. That's just another one of them. Yeah. But I followed through on it, got the job done, and became a United States Marine. And that was really the defining moment of why we're even here having this conversation now, because I ended up in the Marine Corps, went to Iraq, came back. My plan was to just be in the Marine Corps. I was going to go over to recon and then on to MARSOC. Like, that was my whole career trajectory. I had met my wife. I told her I'm doing this for the rest of my life. This is what I love to do. During our Afghanistan workup, we're running night ops out through a swamp. I step in a hole and blow my knee out, and it was done right there that night. The Marine Corps was done with me, and I had to figure out what's the next step look like. And I believe it or not, I ended up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, because that is where my wife was from, and she wanted to go back home. And I was trying to figure out, like, what do I do? Like, what's my next step? And I found this foreman and training ad on Craigslist, and it took me like 2 weeks to apply. Like, I did that. I was like, I'm not interested in this. Like, I'm interested, but I don't have any construction experience. And finally, one day I looked in the mirror and was like, damn it, Ron, you were a United States Marine. If you want to go work in construction, go work in construction. I applied for the job. The guy that owned the company was 82nd Airborne, and he loved Marines. And everybody else he was hiring had construction management degrees, but here's this washed up grunt sitting in front of him, and he goes, I've never met a Marine that just left me and didn't just do what needed to happen.
Yeah.
He's like, because of that, I'm going to give you the job. And that went on for a 12-year career in the construction business. And I've done everything from running the jackhammer to running an 8-figure-a-year construction company and all the crap in between, which leads us here to today. Is I had another defining moment where I was building BuilderComs out. It's the software company I currently own, and I was building it for our company, and that went sideways. And it was pretty much either step in line and do exactly what I was told, or walk away. And I made the decision to walk away and go do what I thought was best for my family and myself in the long term. And here we are now, 3 years later, and we're now having this conversation on this podcast.
Nice. Yeah. So that's another thing is, like, when you're in the military, especially when you're a grunt, you've done all the jobs. you've done it all. Like, hands down, I think everything I've ever done, I can count back to my time in the military that I did something like that. And but yeah. So you've done all the jobs. You just kind of go and do it. And that's the thing I always tell people about veterans. You know, I think one of our greatest things is that we know how to self-morale. When the cards are down, when everything is just, it looks like everything sucks, we have a way to smile and be like, yeah, but fuck it.
Well, that's what it is. Like, that is the job. I'm such a component for veterans, especially in the construction world. Like, there is no blue collar trades where whatever you are in, if you can give a veteran an opportunity, they would be one of the most loyal employees you've ever had. And they will practically die for you as long as you don't fuck them over.
Yeah.
You do that, then they're going to go to war with you. But if you just take care of them and that you teach them how to do what they need to do, they will excel at it more than anybody else, more than any demographic out there.
Yeah. 1 year ago, I was fencing. I was working for a fencing company. I'd never touched a fence before in my life. I learned the entire job and was doing the entire job by myself. They could send me out anywhere in the state, and I would do the whole job by myself in 4 months. And one of the admin people kind of screwed me.
Mm-hmm.
And now my company owns this entire town.
See, that's why I mean, like, just don't screw us.
Yeah,
because you're going to open up the floodgates. But you take care of us and continue to give us something to strive after, we'll be fiercely loyal, like almost self-deprecating loyal.
Exactly. And I was like, man, the funny thing is, now that I'm on the other side of things, I realize how much money I made that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was crazy because it was, it's a whole story, but it's pretty funny because their company went under, and now I've basically kind of took it off over like this whole entire area. And he'll text me sometimes to try to give me advice. I'm just like,
I
but
know the
anyways,
type, man. I dealt with the type for a long time, and they think they feel like they got to keep a thumb on you. They got to try to keep you like you're their deal when we're our own deal. Like we're our own thing, but they feel like, hey, that guy probably wouldn't be there without me. And you know what? Yeah, that might be true, but I think I probably figure it out with or without you. Like I'm not one, like there's just something about that. Like we're like you said, like we are built differently. We are built to figure this out. We thrive in the shit.
yeah.
And some people are going to come and go, and some people are going to try to claim, not necessarily claim, but they're going to try to be like, oh yeah, I was the one that gave them that shot or whatever. And everybody gets shots. Most do nothing with them.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's you took the words like right from my head. It's exactly what I would say. He was a dude who ran businesses in the 90s. And I told him, I said, listen, we're a team, bro. Like anything he needed, I would do. No job was too small, too big. Like, well, whatever you need, as long as it gets the mission done, I'm about it. And he just felt like he didn't feel like he had control unless he kept a thumb on me. So he kept trying to put pressure on me to do nonsense stuff. And I was like, and then but anyways, that's just,
let me die, dude. So like one of the last conversations I had before I walked away from working in the construction industry, one of the comments that were made was, I've been a really good soldier, and it's time to fall back in line and continue on with that and do what we need to do. And at that moment when I knew, like, I was going to burn this son of a bitch down. Like there was no falling back in line. Like that comment was to me, but it's that feeling like they have to keep you under the thumb because they're a whole lot better with you, but you're a whole lot better without them. And they know that, and they know they need to try to keep there's no benefit. They bring no benefit to you, but you bring all the benefit to them, and they feel like they have to try to. And a lot of times it's very toxic, those relationships.
Yeah. Well, the thing I liked the most was they left me alone because I could do it by myself. But then they were paying me 20 an hour. Like I started at 15, I was at 20 an hour like 2 months later. And then I was like, listen, if I'm going to do these jobs all by myself, completely alone, anywhere, I need more money. You got to pay me more money than this. And the guy looks at me and he says, I used to be able to pay $10 an hour Mexicans to do what a $25 an hour white guy will do. And I remember I just looked at him and I was like, well, go hire yourself one of them. Peace. And then I walked
half of them.
and I walked right out and I hit up Carly and I said, Carly, we're doing the business. And like that was the final straw. I was like, well, that's it. We're doing the business. And I was like, man, you don't want me as your competition, bro.
I love it. I mean, but that's how people get. They get all encompassing. It's just such bad leadership. It's just such bad everything. It's like you said, run businesses forever. Leadership in owning a business is a skill that continues to progress. Like you're never at the top of the game, even when you are, because you have to be willing to continue to learn. Like leadership is a diminishing skill set. If you're not continuing to work on it, you're losing it. It's the same thing with operating a business. Like you have to continue to work and grow on this stuff. If you just do the stuff that's worked for the last 10, 20 years, you're constantly going to get worse. The results will get worse.
Yeah. One of the issues I run into is hiring people because I'm used to military. I'm used to, hey, you know, we got a mission, we get it done. And the last 2 people I've hired, I brought them in and treated them like, okay, this is a family, this is a team, this is this. And that's when I actually had to go back and realize that not everybody thinks like me. And after listening to what you said earlier, I'm like, I'm looking in the wrong pool. I need to hire veterans.
Yeah, well, I mean, that definitely, because I believe like operators is what we should be creating. Like
Mm-hmm.
to fix hiring, you have to create somewhere where people want to work and give people what they want. And what do people want? They want structure. They want clear communication on what's going on, and they want a plan. I think, who were you with
What do you mean?
when you were in?
I was Army 25th Infantry.
Okay, so like the 25th Infantry had a way that they did it at every level.
Mm-hmm.
When you were in a fire team, when you were in a squad, when you were in a platoon, you just set a company up like that.
Yep.
Like that's what there's you don't have to use all the same terminology, but the small team leadership that's built in the military, the 22nd Infantry used, will work in your business as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put people out on missions so they can excel. They have something they're going to accomplish. It's not just a job, it's a mission. It's just a different frame of mind on how we look at what we do and how we operate. And we start teaching guys and girls this, is that we're just out on a mission. I'll tell you what, like 2-3 weeks ago, my whole mindset shifted on sales forever when I had a Ranger, 11-year Army Ranger, 11 combat deployments, six to Afghanistan, 5 to Iraq in 11 years. He's now a sales trainer. And he gets up and he says, here's what sales are. And he was talking to a group of veterans. Sales is just like when you used to leave the wire. You are on a mission and you're hunting somebody. The only thing is no one has to die. You just have to close the sale. And no one's going to die around you. And it completely changed my mindset on sales because I've always sucked at sales, but I've never looked at it as a mission. But like the whole operations of businesses, that's how I look at it. Is like we're just a unit operating. Like these guys are just all operators. Like it makes people feel cool. Like you're an operator. Like what a operator 1, operator 2. Like it adds something to it. But we're on a mission. Our mission here is to put fence up. How many feet of fence do we have to put up today?
Yeah.
And then mission accomplished. And then you go home to your family and you do the stuff that you love to do. And then tomorrow we come back here and we're back on the mission. Mm-hmm. And like it's how we frame stuff. And then once you start to build that, then that starts to spread through your town. Yeah. And then more people we used to have one of the worst hiring problems. Like it was bad. Okay. And when we finally realized it was us, like we were the problem because we had created a company nobody wanted to work at. And we shifted that. It took us about 2 years to shift all of that. Mm-hmm. But we got to the point where we had people waiting to work for us. Really? Instead of our employees going home and telling everybody how shitty our company was, they would go home and tell everybody, like, this is where you want to work. Like, the work might be the hardest work I've ever done in my life, but this is the company you want to work for. And that's all you got to build, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Freaking, well, I gotta steer it back here a little bit. We could talk for hours, bro. like hands down, man. I could talk to you for hours. We talk about all this stuff. So anyways, though, so BuilderComs. So we left off right about that moment, right before you started your company. Tell me about BuilderComs and what was the idea behind it? What was everything that led you to do what you did? And then also, I really want to hear about that hiring process, by the
way. Absolutely. So, like I said, I got tired of getting my ass chewed in driveways. And I really took a deep dive into why. Why is this happening? At its core function, what is the actual pain point? Like it's a bunch of emotions and people are upset. It's different on every job, but there has to be something that is the common denominator here. And everything brought me back to communication. So I had my problem. The bottleneck was communication. I did not have we were not effectively communicating between clients and the team and within the team. And I was like, okay, so we're trying to scale to 9 figures. I'm like, this has to be fixed. If I don't fix this, there's no way we can go where we want to go. And one night I'm laying in bed and it just hits me is if I just had a piece of software that worked as air traffic control, that brought all of our communication into one place and then organized it and had the right stakeholders in at the right places, I could solve this problem. And is what has become BuilderComs now. Is so I brought it to market as a communications platform for the construction industry. That was like the aha moment. Is like, this is what I need to do, because every time we had a crew on, all I did was make this problem worse. Because every time we added a crew, the communication problem was a holdback. So then it continued to create these problems. So I needed a way. How do we continue to scale our communication? It's like, you think about, how do you scale the impossible? How do you win a battle that you can't win? Like when you're cornered in somewhere in an ambush, how do you come out alive? That's how you have to look at problems within a business. And then you have to create that solution and then execute on it. So that's what I did. And I built BuilderComs, and then I brought it to market, because I was like, why just fix this problem for myself? These people here don't care about me, obviously, like from our conversation earlier. Why don't I just go help the entire construction industry with this and actually fix this problem? And that's what I'm on the mission to do right now.
That's awesome, because that is something that we have had. Like, that would probably be one of our number one issues so far, is the communication between the office and I'm completely off grid most of the time, because we do I custom design solar power grids, install them. Like, I completely take properties that are barren pieces of land and turn them into whatever. Like right now I'm doing an entire training center for police, military, and it was just a piece of barren land, doing a 100 amp service solar grid out there, shooting ranges, everything, and being able to communicate back and forth with customers with that, especially when you got all these calls coming in at this office that's 3 hours away that Carly's at, and Carly's trying to answer all this stuff and hit me up and be like, what do you need? And I'm trying to concentrate on this work. I'm in a Bobcat. I barely got service at half the places I go. And she's like, I don't know how to answer these questions. So yeah, trust me. Thank you.
It sounds like you need a sit rep for her at the office.
Yeah, I do. I need a lot of things. Yeah, right now we're a 2-man show, or a man and woman show, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I love it. I love what you guys are doing. Me and my wife run BuilderComs. Like, people, it blows people's minds. It's like, we run this software company, and it's me and my wife. Like, she does all of our customer support. She does all of our social media, all of that stuff. And I run the operations and sales side of it. And that's an anomaly. Especially, like, we're a bootstrap company. I've never raised any money. I've taken the completely non-typical route to go do something like this, and here we are, living the American dream.
Yeah, we started with debt. Nope, didn't raise money, nothing. Completely in debt, and all I happened to have was, when I did have money years ago, when I put the down payment on this 40-acre ranch, and I built it from the ground up myself, just kind of stubborn Polacking my way through it. And then I bought a Bobcat. Like, I had this like extra money, and I put some money down, bought a Bobcat, and I just did it just to play on my own land. And when I was struggling one time, my friend just looks at me and he goes, dude, you have $1,000 a day machine sitting right on that property over there. And that was like the idea. I was still fencing. And then when when I quit, but he also fired me at the same time, whatever, whoever's ego needed to be heard. I don't know. But that was the moment where I was just like, I was already thinking about the Bobcat. I was like, Carly, let's do this. Let's pull the trigger on this. Let's go. But yeah, freaking just all the way from the ground up. And like, I've been asking myself, how do other people do it? Because it's rough, but yeah, because I was like, some people, like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like some people have that hard of a time.
I don't think that we see it, because it's hell. I mean, anything you do is hell. Like, the problems, they just change, but there's always problems no matter where you're at within business. At the very early stages, it's always money problems, because
tell me
everything's
about
really
some of those.
tight. Well, like you're just getting off the ground. So it's all, capital constraints are always there. It makes it harder to do the work. It makes it harder to do everything. But those problems eventually go away, and then new problems present themselves. They just typically, when you have money, it makes everything easier, like that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
But people don't talk about it enough. People only talk about the good stuff. I have a draft whenever BuilderComs, I'm in building BuilderComs to eventually be acquired. Like, that's my end goal with BuilderComs. And when that happens, is I will put out the most realist book that's ever been written on entrepreneurship. And I've been writing it along this journey. And it's about all the stuff that no one wants to talk about, because everybody just wants to talk about all the fantastic things. They don't want to talk about the moments when you're sitting in a dark room and you don't even know what the next turn is. But like, that is the reality for most entrepreneurs. I mean, there's a 99% failure rate for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's why veterans make such great entrepreneurs, because we figure out how to dig out of the hole eventually.
Yeah.
We might dig down deeper to start, but eventually we figure out how to get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that's kind of what I was leaning towards, was people only see the tip of the iceberg. It always seems easy to everybody, and then it's like, as soon as they jump in, what the craziest thing is, when people come to you with ideas and they want something for an idea from someone else, like they think that I can give you an idea, and because you're a go-getter, you'll do something with this idea, and somehow, some way, they'll get paid for that. And everybody has an idea. Everybody has one. And most people will sit around and not act on it. And then later on in life, they'll see you acting on an idea. And this is the biggest thing. Just don't even don't even tell people all the good stuff, because nobody wants to see you succeed, because all it means to them is they see you working on an idea that they never worked on an idea. All it means to them is that you're doing what they should have done, and they don't want to validate that. So it's like one of those things where I always say, make your moves in the dark, know who your people are. And, you talk to them, but yeah. And then it's like, when your friends call you and they want you to hang out and you can't hang out, and they just don't understand. It's like, oh, I thought you ran your own company, you wrote your own hours, you did your own thing. And it's like,
I mean, there's a misconception to all of this. I mean, they say Lambos only have 2 seats for a reason. I say that's because, me and my wife fit in there just fine. Like that, like there's, when you said validate, like, people don't want to validate that. We have to look at that as what it really is. And that's, they don't want to validate their own failures, because in order for them to say that you're successful, they have to look in the mirror and say, I'm a failure because I didn't go do that. I'm still punching the clock over here, because in 10 years, who gives a fuck what any of these people think? You're going to be running a huge company, and you will be writing your hours, and they will be sitting right where they're at. Like, I'll tell you, they don't leave. They're still at that bar. Like,
Yep.
they'll be there in 10 years bitching about the job they have now.
Yeah.
And you'll be on vacation with your wife.
Yeah, exactly. And then I always say to people, don't, what is it? It's don't tell me must be nice when you're not willing to do the things that I am.
Yeah. It's like all the people that said, "Oh, I was going to enlist, but
yeah. Veterans Day. That's it. That's I was going to enlist, but day.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same, like, I want to be right there with you, but I didn't have the cojones to go do it. It's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about tell me a little bit about your business now. Like where is it went from that moment where you decided that I'm going to create this and then I'm going to share it with construction companies. I'm going to help other construction, like it's like helping your brothers out there, where is it now? How has that journey been?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been hell. Like, getting a startup off the ground and bringing a product to market is 1,000 times harder than I ever thought it would be. And we just keep chipping away at it. We put on just over 800 users on our platform over the last couple of years. I just changed the entire business model around at the beginning of this year. Like, it's constantly ever evolving. So I made the software free and moved to a different clientele. I was tired of we were selling it for $97 and $197 a month, and that wasn't our ideal client. Like, it just wasn't. It was really, really hard. That was a really hard client, and it wasn't worth the squeeze. So I decided I'd make the software free for them. They could just use it and hopefully grow into our ideal customer. And now what we specialize in, we have the free version. We have an annual unlimited plan that we do sell that has more data, more users, all of that kind of stuff, and some enhanced features. But the real bread and butter is we now customize, white label, and license it to construction companies. So we go in and we take our software and we finish where it needs to be at to fit directly in your business. So no more workarounds, no more anything. We actually build you a piece of software that will replace Gmail, Microsoft Teams, Slack, WhatsApp in your company. And then we license it to you. So you have it. It's something that you can utilize within your business, and it's customized to your business and your workflows. And over my time, one of the biggest hurdles that I've found out with construction software is implementation. So we now offer implementation services, anything from we will work with you remotely on a once or twice a week basis, or I'll fly out and spend a week with you and we'll implement this software into your business. We'll build out the SOPs around it, and I will leave you guys with something immediately that you can be utilizing. So big shift in our business model this year, moving away from like tradition or SaaS to more like software company. So it's been an interesting journey. I get to meet a lot of great people in the construction industry. That's one of our advantages, is like, I'm that guy. So when I get on calls with people, we end up talking shop most of the time, and not software.
Yeah. So let me tell you, you've got me interested, like big time. And I know you spoke with Carly earlier. She's usually the one who does all this stuff. Like, I know that we got a CRM going right now, but like that gave like starting the CRM and trying to figure that out for Carly, at least, because, I got to disappear to the job site and avoid all that for a while. And, Carly was just, it was rough. And for you to come on out and like, be like, all right, this is how it goes, and, maybe we go with y'all and you come on out and maybe we'll get some soft work done when I got a shooting range sitting right next to the cabin. Maybe we'll get a little bit of soft work done. But but anyways, though, that sounds fantastic, though. Like,
Boy, it's such a roadblock. Like you're talking about, like we were selling a piece of software and just, I guess, throwing up Hail Marys that, I mean, we got a great YouTube channel built out with training and stuff, but still, it's like, how do you get stuff integrated in these businesses? Because most of the time, what the numbers show is it takes a construction company 6 to 9 months of implementing a piece of software before they start to actually see the full value in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling guys software that do not have the time to invest 6 to 9 months.
Yes.
Like they need results immediately. So it's like, how do we shorten that? How do we make this so this is just part of their business so they get value on day one? I believe this is the few. I think I'm like a trailblazer in this stuff. Like I think this will be the future of software, especially in the construction industry. You're going to have more a la carte where people are more invested in actually getting the users up to speed instead of selling them a piece of software. Now, my route about it, it makes me spend more money on my end, being a bootstrap company, to get all of this stuff changed around, especially when I just cank most of our revenue and just say, use our software for free and move to a different business model. But long term, we're going to change the game, which will equal more money. Like the deals are bigger now than they were before. And our impact is bigger. So immediately what people do is they tell the next person, like, you need to have Ron come fix this for your business. Yeah. Like you don't need to go buy BuilderComs software. You just need this. You need the solution. You need the fix. And we're the fix for communication. We're just not a Band-Aid. We're just not slap it on, pay my $97 a month and boom, bada bang, this problem's fixed. Yeah. I want to actually fix the problem, and this is how we do it.
Yeah, it's short-term loss for long-term gain. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. That's something big I had to learn when I was trying to bid war with people. I don't bid war with anybody in this town anymore, like at all. And I said, like, you can have a Kia or a Porsche. I just make sure that when I do my work speaks for itself. When you tell me you got problems, I'm not just throwing up your fence and clearing your lot. Like, no, I'm actually looking over things, and I'm your eyes on the ground when you're on the other side of the country and you want me to do your project. And I throw in all this extra stuff to make it pretty. I solve your issues. You tell me what your issues are. I will find the solutions to those and not just do whatever and walk away. And that changed everything for us, which it seems like going that route where you give them the software and then it's like, okay, get used to it, because that's one of the biggest things. There's software everywhere. Like I probably get 10 emails a day from construction software companies, right? And but to stand out is to actually have someone who's there. And that's one of the big things I always say, like, hey, you call, I'm going to answer. I'm there. I am invested in you getting what you need. And that's amazing, Ron. Like, that's fantastic. And that I honestly do believe that with all that and coming out with people and showing people how to use it, that is the future. And that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah, because I usually will get an app and I'll find one good thing I know about it, and that's all I'll use. And I'll never even explore the rest of this software at all, because I'll find the one thing that works, and then I don't want to screw with anything because I feel like I'm going to screw up everything.
Well, and you brought it back to that human element, because that's what I realized is, like, that's our differentiator. I was dealing with this guy that they were using Microsoft Teams and they were having all kinds of problems and they could never get anybody on the phone. And I was like, see, this is one of our differentiators, is like, you can get us. Like, nothing to get, those companies have just gotten so big that you can't, like, they just don't. You're in a death cycle of automated voicemails. Well, you can pick up the phone and get us. Like, I'm on the other line. My wife's on the other. Like, we're here, and we can answer these problems, and we'll make that a core fundamental as we continue to grow the business. Somebody needs to be accessible. Like, we need to have accountability around this, because it's what differentiates us from everybody out there, is that we are available.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, Ron, I've had a fantastic time talking with you and learning all about you, your company, a little bit about your history. I would like for you to plug your YouTube channel, where people can find BuilderComs, where they can get a hold of you, and I believe you said you got a training YouTube channel too, right? I'm not sure if it's all encompassing one. Yeah, go ahead and plug everything in here, and I'm going to make sure that we put it all up so everybody can see it. And yeah, because I honest to God feel like we will. I'm pretty sure we're going to be contacting you, and for our own needs.
I'm here to help however I can, man. I mean, I'll help you guys out from one vet to another. We'll make some stuff happen.
All right.
But buildercoms.com, COMS.com, BuilderComs on YouTube. That's our training. That's where we have all of our how-to training videos and everything. If you want to check out the podcast, Construction Champions Podcast, and then you can find me on LinkedIn. That's probably one of the easiest places to find me.
Awesome. Now, give us a little synopsis of the podcast, the Construction Champions Podcast.
So we asked the $1 million question, and that is, what makes a construction champion? I bring on it's a whole, sometimes a shit show of whatever people from the construction industry. Like, if you're around the industry, I bring you on, and we have conversations about what makes a construction champion. My goal is to continue to change the mindset around the construction industry, because it's just not where it needs to be. We don't do a good job of it ourselves. We're just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
We change this mindset, and my goal is to just create a bunch of construction champions all over the world out there, changing the mindset around the construction industry every day.
That's awesome, man. That's fantastic. I'll be checking you out as well. Yeah, I mean, hell, I'd like to be on there.
You should.
No, we could talk about it. I could talk about a lot of stuff. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ron Nussbaum, and I really, really appreciate you being here with us and speaking with me and being able to meet up tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show, man.
All right. Have a good one, brother.
You too.